So we don't have any big NFL news today. Nothing UFC that I'm going to talk about. But what we do have, first time ever on this channel, that I'm going to make a video about the NBA. Not a big-time NBA watcher. Basketball, love basketball. More of a college basketball watcher myself. But we do a podcast now. Check it out right here. There's a subscribe. Definitely go check it out. And before I continue on with the NBA, yes, I understand I look like a total douche with these glasses. But again, going back to what I just said about the podcast, we have a whole new theme video podcast coming. We talk about sports. The theme, this kind of fits the theme. So I'm just trying to break in the sunglasses, get used to wearing them, get used to my appearance. I don't think it's half bad. You know what I mean? $16 off of Amazon. Think I look good, but I digress. Back to the NBA. Playoffs, couple series, couple games going on. Nets, Celtics. At this point, Nets are up 0-2 or 2-0. Pretty sure that they might end up getting a sweep. The Celtics might sneak a game. You got the Mavs and the Clippers. Mavs are up 2-0. Mavs are up 2-0. That's an interesting one. I do think the Clippers will come back, but that's not what I want to talk about. Because going back to the podcast that I just talked about, one of my guys that I record with, diehard Knicks fan. You know, typical Knicks fashion, gloom and doom, always thinks something bad's going to happen. But I watched that game the other day with the Knicks, between the Knicks and the Hawks. And the Knicks, you know what I mean? They were down. They were down big early in the second half. That is when I snuck right in there. I think at the time I placed a bet. Them on the money line, they were up. Their odds were plus 250. They were down 10. I'm like, they could make a run. Derrick Rose was doing his thing. Julius Randle had an awful first half in their last game. Didn't score a single point. Didn't make a field goal. Or might have had 2 points. Did not make a field goal. Had a hell of a second half. D. Rose continued to do his thing. Barrett was there. Obi Toppin was pretty good. Youngster out of Dayton. And they came back and they won. They won me some money. And they won. Fans, Knicks fans, brutal. Chanting Trae Young is balding. And may or may not have spit on him while he was taking the ball out of bounds. Almost as bad as those Philly fans that are dumping popcorn on Russell Westbrook after the guy just snapped his ankle in half. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the Knicks. Hawks. I probably should know where the game is. Is it in Atlanta? Is it in MSG? I'm pretty sure, actually. I think I saw Spike Lee post something heading to Atlanta, whatever. So I think tonight's game is in Atlanta. I think this is going to be the best series, end up being the best series of the first round. I think this one could go 7. Trae Young is showing that he is an absolute stud. Doing it in the playoffs. The guy that I podcast with, the Knicks fan, said we contain Trae Young and the Knicks get the job done. You know, the Hawks can't beat him. Trae Young has to have a day. And Trae Young, they could not contain Trae Young, and I think they're coming to the point where they can't contain Trae Young. But what happened to them in their last game is Trae Young was having a good game, but whichever Bogdanovich they have, there's 2 of them. First names are very similar. Whichever Bogdanovich the Hawks have, he went off. He had a great first half. So I think at this point, if you're the Knicks, you have to understand. I mean, they try to hedge, right? They try to double team Trae as much as possible to not let him get comfortable, not let him get to the rack. Obviously, you can shoot it from anywhere. So they're going to continue to do that, but you just need to make sure that you're not paying so much attention to him that someone else, like a Bogdanovich, like a Collins, like one of those guys doesn't end up going off, right? Because you can't have that. You can't have that. I think you just need to live with the fact that Trae's probably going to average 30 in this series. Don't let him get 50. Contain him. Knicks side, I'm a little worried. They rode Derrick Rose heavy minutes in the first game, and Derrick Rose was like trying to kind of recall. Obviously, he could shoot way better. I'm a Bulls fan. He could shoot way better now than he did when he was with Chicago because he was just super athletic and had no care for his body. A couple times I saw him get to that, and they relied on him. Tibbs relied on him heavy minutes the other day, Wednesday, and I don't know. I hope, because I'm a big-time Derrick Rose fan, and I like Tibbs, and I hope that doesn't end up catching up to him, but I think where he's at 32, 33 years old, it's going to be tough to recover from that. Like I said, he got to the rack a couple of times. He was just going in between two defenders. It looked like vintage Derrick Rose, but again, we all know a couple ACL repairs. Guy's body fell apart in his prime, so that type of stuff will catch up to him. I don't know. I think I'm going to have to give the edge to Atlanta. I did not look at the betting lines. I probably should. I will before this game goes off. I have not looked at them. I'm probably going to say if it's reasonable, if it's like 2 or 3 points, I may take Atlanta. I think it's going to be a good game, but just because it's home court, I will give Atlanta the edge, unless it's not actually in Atlanta, and then this video is all for naught, because literally the only reason I'm going to take Atlanta when I bet them tonight, when I bet this game tonight, is because they're home. They are home court advantage. That is my thinking right now. So if I go back and look and it's actually at MSG, all this is for naught. All this is for naught. But hell of a series. You're an NBA fan. This is the game to watch for sure. 100%. This is the series to watch. Again, I think it's going to go 7. I think Atlanta gets it today, and I think the Knicks will end up getting the series, and I really hope it does. Goes back to the podcast. I have a podcast with one guy who really likes the Knicks, one guy diehard Sixers. I want them to play in the next round because I just want to see that. I just want to see that interaction between those two. I want the shit talk. I want to sit in the middle. I want to be the intermediary, but not really. I want to kind of poke fun at both of them, poke both the bears so they go at each other, and I get enjoyment out of it. That's what this is all about. I'm done rambling now. Definitely go watch that if you're an NBA fan. This is going to be a hell of a game, I think. I'm going with the Hawks because I think they're home court. I could be wrong about that. Glasses, let me know what you think about them. Definitely, again, go subscribe to the podcast. You know, we talk about NBA playoffs and stuff. We big sports guys here. And maybe subscribe to this channel too, for sure. And I'll see you in the next one.